You know, every old house has seen generations come and go, and every old house has a story. Hi, Rebecca. What you doing? Having fun today? I hope. I am. Finding information about old houses. I lived in an old house in Brooklyn. 3 generations. My grandmother, my mother, and I. My grandmother had lived there until shortly after she came over from the old country to meet, her husband, and they bought the house. But it was an old house. There was a stair that squeaked. I mean, come on, Of course, it was the 60s. So there was a stair that squeaked. So I had to be very careful when I come back when I snuck out of the house. Sometimes. Rebecca's sorting out her old house. Yeah, but it's not charming enough to have. Oh, I mean, the house you currently live in might be an old house, but there is something real about old houses. Imagine a house was 100 years old and has witnessed, and what it has witnessed. God, I'm dumb. Um, I don't know why people are, but they are drawn to abandoned houses. Old homes, they often feel more alive than new ones. When I was looking for a house years ago, I found this old house. It was off a canal, and I it was stuck in the 70s. It was with the slanted roof and everything, but it had good bones, I guess you would say. And it was like an off canal. I wanted that house so bad, but it was just out of my reach. I bought it the wrong time. Yeah, your old house is old, but still, my old house now is probably over 100 years old now. I think it was they bought it in no, they bought it in 1920 or 1922, somewhere around there. And my mother was born 1930. So yeah, the house right now is since 2026, so over 100 years old. Cool. I hope it's still in the condition it was. I've seen they've changed the outside. Yeah, and they've changed the backyard. But otherwise, it pretty much looks the same. You know, it's my old house. Ah, I don't know. I guess there are some features that have disappeared that I've always wanted in a house. This house that I had found back when I was looking for it, It had that feature, a sleeping porch, a big porch that you could actually sleep on if you wanted, because it was big enough. What about root cellars or coal chutes? That's the whole. We didn't even have a laundry chute in the house. We did have a milk door that the milkman would go around back and put the milk. Telephone niche. We had a telephone niche. It was up on the wall in a corner, right in front of the kitchen, equal with the stair. Um, and then you walk into the kitchen, and the telephone niche was right there. And she had a little table. It was so cute. Of course, it was a dial up. Oh, God. I remember dial ups. I was so happy when they came up with push buttons. Even happier when they came up with memories for push buttons and answer machines and voicemail. It's, yeah, being an old house. I wish. Why did they vanish? I mean, I guess nobody wanted to fix them up anymore. But then there might still be a lot of old houses around. You just have to, you know. I mean, my grandmother was living in this house in 1920, right around then. Can you imagine a school teacher living alone in 1920? How about a family with 6 children sharing bedrooms? Every place we moved to, before we moved in with my grandmother, my brother and I had to share a bedroom. Oh, God. It was bad. Yeah, it was bad. Now, I remember that my mom, we moved into an apartment 2 blocks away from my grandmother's house. And we had the street level apartment, and there was a house, a 2-story house above us. They had to walk up to get to the house. We entered from the side. And there were 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. After the kitchen was in the back, and 2 bedrooms. She took 1 bedroom and put in a partition like that, a T. And I slept on this side, and my brother slept on that side. We each had a little door, and there was a little walkway in front that, she didn't put it all the way. It was, the problem was she did it out of like particle board or something, I don't know, plywood. It was, yeah, it wasn't very sturdy, and we could hear each other. We were young, so it didn't make that big a difference. Still, how about a shopkeeper living above a store? That's an old house. In fact, that still happens. Unfortunately, in the city, for me, it's known as New York, those apartments above the stores are terrible. When a person owned and ran the shop, and owned the building or was leasing the building. They had 2 stories to work with. But then it was cut up into individual apartments. They did the same with brownstones, which beautiful townhouses. I mean, the thing is, you can walk down the most beautiful block in New York City with a row of those beautiful brownstones, and you never know which one has apartments and which one is a whole house. Still a whole house. Expensive. Rental is expensive too for a tiny little place. I'm glad I don't live in New York anymore for that reason. Um, you ever find anything strange in an old house? There, there can be some very interesting, especially in the larger ones. There can be some very interesting items. You know, people who have discovered hidden rooms, old newspaper in the walls, toys under the floorboards, letters in the attic, forgotten photographs, coins, tools. Amazing what you can find in an old house. When I was younger, I used to frequent the flea markets, and I would, when I bought something, I would try and think about who it belonged to and how it was used. Because I would buy furniture and fix it up. You know, when you're poor, you're poor. You take used couches and you gotta them. It was a long time before I bought my first living room set. Now I don't want anything matchy matchy. Then I was matchy matchy. I had an old couch, a chair from somewhere else, a coffee table that used to be a dining table. And we cut down the legs and sanded it down and painted it, you know. Did the same with certain bookshelves that we'd find at the flea market, or hell, people would toss them out on the streets. I I used to drive around my apartment building when I lived in Coconut Creek and see what people left out on their front lawns in the unincorporated areas. Because incorporated areas, you're not allowed to leave anything out on the streets. Of course, I think now it's the whole county. But the people used to be able to leave things along the sidewalk in front of, on their lawn. It's on their property and free to take it. I don't think that happens anymore. But then I don't have the energy to fix them up anymore. Are you still here, Rebecca? Or are you just packing away? She's packing away, packing away. Oh no, that was and the architecture. There, there is architecture with personality. Crooked floors, une- uneven staircases, tiny doors. There was a tiny door in the basement of our old house in Brooklyn. Tiny door. Nothing in it. It was just a tiny little room with a tiny door. I guess somebody must have just, I don't know. It was old when my grandmother bought it. in the 20s or whatever. How about odd windows? You know, some of them go wonky. I've been working on painting, line drawing buildings, and I've been fat and thin, tall, and short, and I'm putting them together, and I like it's a lot of fun. But I'm getting better. The two I've finished already, eh, but I'm getting better at the line drawing. And with this third one, I'm going to take more time with the painting. I took more time with the second one. Actually, I took time with both of them, but they were both watercolor. I may do the next one in oil or just acrylic, plain paint. I don't know. You tell me. But I'm still working on the drawing. I had I had a drawing, but I didn't like it. It's 5 houses, but I didn't like the way I drew it. So I went looking on the internet for photographs of old houses, wonky houses, townhomes, um, flower pots that sit outside, trees, so I can get not perfect, but I can get style more. There's nothing wrong with tracing a photograph. But I'm tracing like 10 different photographs and putting them together this way and that way. And I'm working on a drawing of two houses together. The problem is there are cars right in front of them. So I have to guesstimate what it'll look like because I don't want the cars in it. But they're very old. It's pink. A little tiny house in the middle of two houses. So you see this little tiny house painted pink, and then two tall big houses. And I had to reproduce it, but I know it's in another country because I've never seen architecture like that in anywhere in the states. I'm sure there is, but I've never seen it, and it's old. And I'm using it to hone my skills on drawing straight lines without having to use Procreate's automatic line. To me, that's, I don't know. Unless I'm an architect, I, it, I can make buildings perfect with Procreate because I can draw a line, hold it, and no matter how wiggly it is, it will go straight from point to point. But I don't know. It's it's hard to accept that. I want to improve my drawing skills. Easiest way is to trace photographs. Um, and with the water painting, I'm learning the different brushes. They're coming out cool, right, Rebecca? Some of those colors are coming out, they look like real watercolor. I wish in a way I could see a brush rather than a pencil. When I'm using a liner brush, I'd rather see a liner brush, but I guess you can. It's still fun. It's finding the brush I need, especially when I'm looking for a thin pencil or pen that goes thin, then thick, and then thin again. and you can regulate it with pressure, but I can't find one that I really, really like. I'm working with one now that I do like. I'm doing a flower pot right now. I have the basic structure of the 5 houses laid out, but I'm doing some detail. I redid the stairs because my stairs are wonky. So I went looking for photographs of stairs to see how are they supposed to be because yeah, no, there's not enough steps. Well, that's it looks very Escher-esque, like an Escher painting. Yeah, that strip doesn't. It goes. No, it's not right. Something's not right. So we had the architecture with personality. How about built-in cabinets? And I don't mean built-in cabinets just in the kitchen. I mean cabinets built into the walls. I've always wanted some place that had built-ins. They don't take up any more room than regular bookcases lined up do, but they look a hell of a lot nicer. Becca says that makes no sense that you're not okay with what you did versus you tracing. Why? What I did on my own without tracing, I couldn't figure it out. I kept getting it wrong. And I go back and look at it when I'm ready to detail it. And, wait a minute, one, two, three, four. How do you step on that? You can't, no, because the stairs were at an angle. And I know nothing about angles. You can figure out what degree an angle is in Procreate, but I can't figure it out. It's just getting it too technical for me. At least right now. I I know I'm supposed to be. I got finished this row. I'm supposed to be latch hooking, but lately I have just been. You have several built-ins. Mm, you see, things are nice. They are. What about window seats? Ever have a window seat? I always wanted a window seat. I had a girlfriend in Brooklyn. I go over to her house. She had a bigger house than we did. Ours was 2 houses, together, and they were just runways. It had the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, and upstairs you had one bedroom, a tiny bedroom, and a big bedroom in the front. A big bedroom in the back, a big bedroom in the front, and a small one in the middle. I never got that room. My brother did. He got his own room in the basement, fixed it up and everything. Then he decided he wanted the small room. Yeah, I was in there. I had to move in with Grandma because he wanted bigger boys. But it's the imperfections that make old homes and old items memorable, isn't it? It's the imperfections. My wall unit here is a distressed bookshelf, and it's got 2 bookshelves, and it's big. I need to get rid of some of it, but I love it because it's distressed looking. My table, no, my table's not distressed. I don't want to distress that. It's too pretty. I love my table. What can I say? But she had my girlfriend had a window seat in the front of the house, and it was long. So because the two of us, I mean, not long enough for two adults, but fine for two children. And we'd sit out there and we'd each have a coloring book and we'd color and be looking outside and seeing our friends walk by. And sometimes when somebody we actually liked walked by, we'd bang on the window, hi! It was fun. And I lived in a neighborhood where, and at a time where anyone's mother could yell for everyone, every child, go in for dinner. It's dinner time. Go inside or come here now. And we, you know, one month it was, it takes a village, you know, memorable until the utilities kill you. Well, you know, that's why if you're going to move into an old house, you need the money to renovate it, to fix it up. I needed when I bought my house, my electric bill was astronomical because there was not sufficient insulation. In the attic got when the guys had to go up there to work on the air conditioner, the it was like hot as an oven, and that kept you know I don't know why it didn't. It kept, hot air doesn't go down; it's supposed to go up. But it was if I didn't have the air conditioner on 24/7, I died. Like you say, Rebecca, because everyone knew when Wheel of Fortune was on. You're right. But that's a late one. When you're kids, it was you had to be in the house by 6 was usually dinner. But we ate early. I eat early now. I'm an old lady. I could go for the early birds. Ooh, that dates me. What was I looking at? I was looking at something. Oh yeah, and that, just imagine if houses could talk. What stories would your childhood home tell? What room would have the most stories? That would be my bedroom with my grandmother in Brooklyn. Because when I was 16, because I was a bad girl. And I'm not going to talk about it, even though, yeah, I was a bad girl. Not that I had the window, I had a twin bed pushed up against the wall, and the window was right there. I used to, on balmy days, I'd have the window open, and I would lean on the window, laying on my bed. But then again, I was high, so, and it was cool, you know? What would an old village shop remember? Hey, Rebecca? I created some village shops, 4 of them. I call it For Village, PhOAUR or something, or a whatever. Spelled funny. It's For Village. And there's a post office. I love it. I do. That's the latest one I was working on. And I went into great detail with that. That took me forever. And I want to paint. It's all I want to do. I want to dye and paint, and I want to paint or read. Even the latch hook isn't grabbing me that much anymore. shame. I just finished this row. I actually stopped it last time I was working on it when I was live. I stopped it before I finished the row, and I was almost working on the row above it when I said, wait a minute, BB, that's the dark pink, two medium pink, one gray. Oh, and then I started counting because I had only finished like up to here. So it wasn't too bad. I finally figured out I'm not working on the row on top. That's how I made the mistake at the beginning. Oh, but there's a lot of things about old houses, and I can name some rabbit holes that you could talk about. I could talk about for hours. Attics, basements. I would not go down in my basement because we had water bugs, aka cockroaches. I'm sorry, in the city, you can't get rid of them. You can't. And it was, like I said, it was back in the 60s. We didn't have all of this pesticide and all this stuff, and you can bomb a house. And every time you turned the light, steps, we had 3 steps down from the kitchen, then there was the back door, and on the left was the stairs to the basement. I would stand at the top in front of the door, switch on the light for the basement, and hear them all scuttling into the dark. Oh my God. Oh, I think that's where I got my first ugh, about bugs. Yeah. Mm, that was bad. No, 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 no. But I always wanted a front porch. My uncle had, it's weird, most of the houses on the blocks, you would find 2 or 3 that were the same, then another couple over here and one over there that's completely different than all the others. And my uncle's house was like that. First, it was, he had a chain link fence, it was a large property, and a big front yard and a porch. And we never went in the front. We always went into the kitchen, which was on the side of the house. And my cousin kept rabbits. My brother brought home a baby rabbit to feed the snake. He had a boa constrictor. And my mother took one look at it and said, "Oh, no, you're not." She took this beautiful, cute little baby bunny and gave it to my cousin. My cousin, she loved them. She loved it. She really loved it. She was 1 block over and 1 block to the left. So she was across the avenue there, and then on 52nd Street. We were on 51st. But that, my mother, she would tolerate mice or other critters. We're not that. Oh, no, you're not. With me packing, the spiders have come alive. Ah! See, spiders don't, unless they're big, spiders never scared me because spiders eat bugs. Spiders eat bugs. I have a little spider web in the corner, and we don't have any bugs. We used to have a lot of little ones, but I let the cobwebs grow there over there. See, this corner and all the other corners, But that one corner over there, gotta feed the spiders. I used to remember when I came down to Florida, I saw my first daddy long legs. I, I do it's cute. They're almost cute. They eat biting spiders. No, but spiders like daddy long legs and others. There's a lot of harmless spiders. But I won't move to Australia because they got some mother big, dangerous, venomous spiders. No, thank you. No, 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 no. All right. What about hidden rooms? I don't know. I guess you'd find that in a big old house, like close to a mansion, old gardens. Oh yeah, there are some gardens that I've seen on the internet that have been neglected, but they must have been beautiful in their day. Old wallpaper. Yeah, Grandma had wallpaper everywhere. Yeah, it was just too much. Antique furniture, of course. Family photographs, and the abandoned houses. How have you guys checked YouTube for abandoned houses being renovated? Oh my God. People will buy a completely run down, falling apart mansion with a view you could die for a few $1,000. Then they would start renovating it. If they didn't knock the whole thing down, they would maybe take out some of the walls and redo those, refinish the floors, just work on everything, change the electric throughout the house. I mean, they'd spend more than now, and then go down and sell for $1,000,000. But it took them years to do it. But there are some smaller ones. Let's see, what did Rebecca say? I had a boss attorney that had a hidden bedroom behind his bookcases. There you go. There you go. What about some famous old houses? I mean, there's the Winchester Mystery House, which has unusual stairways and rooms, and there's something like 16 bathrooms, 12,000 square feet, no, 112,000 square feet, stairways going here and there, um, hidden entrances, secret passages where the servants could not be seen it was built by what's her name, Sarah Winchester, the heir to the Winchester, remember that the gun that won the West. It wasn't Colt, it was Winchester. And I was looking at pictures on the internet of that house. Oh my God, beautiful. It was built in 18 something, 1872 or something like that, or earlier. And at that time, it was the largest house in the country. The largest house in the country now, I believe, is the Biltmore. The Biltmore estate, which is a giant mansion. It's got, it's almost twice as big as the Winchester house. The thing with the Winchester house is she would add rooms higgly piggly. Oh, let's put one here. I want a little library right here. Oh, I want some play toys here. And if you look at an overhead view, it's, it's, it's so scrambled. It's the same way inside, but the Biltmore, mm, oh my God. Imagine the people, how they lived at that time. I believe the Biltmore was built in the Regency era. No, not that old. But the both the Winchester House, which was earlier, and the Biltmore, which are really huge houses, more like mansions. I think the Biltmore has 116 windows. That's a lot of freaking windows. I'm sorry. I can spend all night talking about some of these beautiful big homes in Fort Lauderdale. Cool. I wish I had built-ins. They take up less room. I wish I changed out my furniture when we moved here because my furniture was meant for a 1,400 square foot house with an open concept living room, dining room, kitchen. So it was meant for, and high ceilings. So it was meant for a large place, or at least a place that felt large. Not here. This this apartment, mm, it's almost like putting real furniture in a dollhouse. It takes up the couch, the recliner, and the table take up so much room. And there's no way I can even turn a portion of this apartment into a craft room except for here. I would I would take the cabinets out, but there's mirrors. It's a mirrored wall. I don't like mirrored walls. But yeah, I do like the color that they painted in here. Pretty color. All right, I'm giving up at this point. Nobody else wants to talk about old houses, but I hope I've entertained you a little bit. I did forget to mention, please subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Leave a comment, say hello, thumbs up. I know a lot of you watch this on replay. Thank you. I do appreciate it. But I'm going to say now, be good, be kind, be nice, be wonderful, and be safe. Until the next time, guess what? Arrivederci.